What has been your biggest day so far? It'll be good to just jump straight into it.
So the biggest day is 47,125. Right now, I'm in my really, really best days. I made 3 times what I'm earning the entire month. In general, like over the span of the entire month, I just looked it up before our call, and I made 119,000 in 1 month in profit, which is really insane. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm really getting goosebumps talking about it because it's still very, very unreal, to be honest. Yeah. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah, Eva, it's good to finally be face-to-face with you and talk, because I know we've communicated a lot through Instagram. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your story.
Yeah, it's been crazy, to be honest. I never expected like that huge results in such a short time. It's like the time frame is like, it's crazy how you can really scale on YouTube. I've seen results from other students, right? And your results and like all the mentors, but I couldn't imagine this really happening to, so quickly. Like it's really crazy.
I know what I've been seeing your results you've been sending to me through Instagram. But before we jump into like your results and what you've achieved, do you want to discuss a little bit about yourself? Because I've seen your results and we'll jump into that. But just tell me a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, what you're currently doing, what you used to do, just a little bit about your story.
Okay, so I'm from Germany, as you maybe can tell on my accent. So my English is not my first language. In the beginning, I was a little bit scared also doing the scripts and everything because of the language barrier. Anyway, so I work in an agency right now, and we have clients in the real estate space. And what I'm doing there is social media but not paid traffic. So I didn't have any experience running YouTube ads or creating videos like that. So that was completely new. I was familiar with social media in general, like doing posts and content creation, but in the real estate space. So it has literally nothing to do with what Profit Singularity is teaching in the course. So yeah. I'm still in that job, so I still do that. So I still work for that agency, and I'm doing this aside. Like Profit Singularity is all on top of my regular 9 to 5, nice. which is often not just a 9 to 5. It's more like a 9 to 7 or 8 right now, because of COVID. There's a lag in stuff right now. So I'm doing a lot more hours than I should do, and on top I'm doing Profit Singularity, and it worked out well.
Yeah. So do you have any plans on because you've had such big success, do you have any plans on like leaving your job anytime soon, or?
Yeah, so the nice thing is that doing what I'm doing in the agency allows me to travel and to work remote from anywhere in the world. So I'm having that location freedom already, but the financial freedom isn't like I'm not. Right now, I'm in my really, really best days. I made 3 times what I'm earning the entire month. I made that in a day, like on profit. So although the job is great and it's a lot of work, but it could never pay me what I'm earning with that system. Yeah. So so eventually.
What has been your biggest day so far? It'll be good to just jump straight into it.
So the biggest day is 47,125.
Yeah, that's
almost hit the 50K.
And so that's revenue, yeah, in sales.
That's revenue. Yeah, that's revenue.
And what was the profit for that day?
For that day, I don't know exactly, but on average, like the overall profit over the last months or the last 30 days has been around 40%. And I'm on CPA, so there's no returns. In general, like over the span of the entire month, it's I just looked it up before our call, and I made 119,000 in 1 month in profit. I was participating in a contest from an offer, and I won second place just like 2 days. It just ended 2 days ago. And I have
nice.
that on top. It's another 15K for the second place. So that on top of the 119K, which is really insane. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm really getting goosebumps talking about it, because it's still very, very unreal, to be honest. Yeah. It doesn't feel real.
And so how long have you been in the course? Because I remember you sending me your screenshots of your first like $5,000 day, your first 10, 15, and you just kept going up and up. So how long have you been in the course to achieve results like that?
Okay, so for me, it took me quite a while, because I started when you first launched the course. I started and I jumped into the mentorship, and I couldn't make it work. I had a lot of problems, spending issues on my accounts. I only have gotten display traffic. I couldn't make it profitable. Then a lot of shutdowns or limitations, and my display traffic just didn't convert. So I didn't do anything for maybe 2 months or so. So I was just frustrated. And then I said, come on, Eva, you invested so much time, so much energy, so much money in all that. You can't just quit. And it's your mantra, right? In the course, never quit. And so that came back to my head, don't quit, don't quit. And I'm pretty sure that I watched every single webinar, like maybe 3 or 4 times. So whenever I'm driving or I'm in the supermarket, standing somewhere in the line, I have my earpods and I'm listening to the recordings of the webinars over and over and over again. And I always heard, like, even in that time that I didn't run ads and I didn't do anything, I was listening. And I saw your screenshots on Instagram from other students' results. And so I know it is possible. And I kept saying to myself, if they can do it, there must be a way that I can achieve it too. And so I pulled myself up again after a couple of months not doing anything. And I started with a new video, a different product in weight loss. And and I finally, I learned to improve my videos. So Google would give me better traffic, not display traffic. Yeah. So that was due to listening to the webinars, because a lot of time you were touching on making videos that Google likes. Like before, I had a lot of, people where you see the belly and they pinched like in their little fat rolls or something like that. So
the negative type of imagery rather than like the positive imagery. Yeah.
So taking that information and changing up my video allowed me to get better traffic, to actually get YouTube traffic and not a display anymore. And it started converting. And so little by little, I was able to scale up, and it worked out really, really good.
Well, thankfully you didn't give up, because I mean, imagine if you I think there's everything in life. I have like a sort of spiritual view on it, as like your decisions put you in a certain timeline or a path. And like, if you gave up in those 2 months, then we wouldn't be here talking, and you wouldn't have done like 115K in profit in a month. So congratulations for, going through the adversity and, failing to then succeed, which I think is like a really important lesson, because you just giving up was such like a potential, but you didn't. And then like, you've gone on to absolutely crush it. So congratulations for doing that. That's like amazing.
Yeah, I'm really happy that I didn't, but it was really due to you guys saying all the time, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. It was like a mantra in myself, and it was like resounding in my head, like those words. And that's finally what kept me, trying again, like after that hole that I've kind of fallen.
What do you think was the biggest difference between you having your breakthrough? Like, can you run us through that situation? Because from going through all that you went through to then, launching another video ad, and then, as you said, hitting a winner and scaling, what do you think the difference was there?
Really improving on the video, the mindset. For me, it was very inspiring all the time to see those screenshots from other students. Very, very inspiring. And I always kept telling to myself that if it works for other people, it must work for me too. So I know there must be a way. And I knew that I needed to improve my video. So I tried everything. You guys are saying in the webinar, don't name like universities by their name, and things like that I had in my videos earlier. So I think really the mindset and believing that you can do it, plus improving the video, those were the factors for me to finally getting results.
What was your reaction when you hit that winning video?
I couldn't really believe it, to be honest. So it was so unreal that it was finally taking off and getting positive results, because I tried so long and I never seen anything like that, And so it was like, yes, it works. It's I can't put it into words. It felt almost unreal, but in a good way, very excited. I was so excited, hitting refresh like every second, you just want to refresh it because there may be a new sale, which is, crazy, but you just want to keep refreshing your screen to see the results. So it's crazy. It felt really, really unreal.
And so when you hit, because a lot of people honestly find it hard to believe that you can make $47,000 in a day. And when they hear that number, it kind of just doesn't sound real, or it's fake or whatever, obviously you've been in the course for quite some time and you've been seeing the results, but can you give us a time frame of when you hit that winner to scaling up to your first $10,000 a day, 15,000, 47,000, what was the sort of time scale of, I guess, how fast you can scale up and how much your life can change in just a couple of weeks?
Okay, so first, the winner video wasn't the video that I was scaling, or not the product. I actually switched products because I got that email saying, promoting that product that ran the contest. And I was like, they give even prizes. They had 7 prizes for people who just make one sale. And I was like, okay, let me try that product, because, one sale should be possible. Maybe I'm one of the lucky winners that just gets that tiny little prize, because you were participating, so to say, and were able to make one sale. And all of a sudden, Tammy wrote me on Skype and she said, hey, you're second place on a leaderboard. And I was like, what? I didn't even check the leaderboard because I never imagined that I could end up on the leaderboard, Yeah. And then I really made it second place until the end. I was first place in between, but for maybe 2 weeks or so. So the contest was 1 month. And for 2 weeks, I was first place, but then the other affiliate was a little bigger than me. He had more budget as me as well, because in the last days of the contest, I actually ran out of budget. So it crashed, the last 3 days crashed because, here it takes a while from the payment that I received from ClickBank to get it paid on my credit card. It takes about 3 days to show up on my credit card. And it just
it's always the biggest problem. It's always the biggest problem with the people doing massive numbers is you can't get the money fast enough to keep spending, and some people might think, well, that's crazy, but it really is. When you're making that much money, you just want to spend 20 grand, 30 grand, let me just spend more money, make more money. Pretty crazy. Exactly.
Especially because it was in the last days of the contest, right? And I really wanted to get back to first place. And I thought I could make it first place, but then
$15,000 prize money is still pretty sweet, cherry on top of making all the other money that you made that month.
Exactly. So anyways, getting back to your question, I received that email about that contest and I was like, oh, let me try that product. And that product actually, so I changed that original video that was the winner video for the other product. I changed it up slightly. I left the same hook and the same opening scenes, and most of the video is pretty much the same. I just changed the script to match the new product since it has a different mechanism, right?
Yeah.
So I just made a few changes to that initial winning video and ran it to that product. And that converted even better than the one I had before. I just kept putting more money into it and just scale the way you teach. Not exactly. I didn't always make half of the budget you start the day with. So I didn't always go with half of it. Sometimes, or most of the days, only 25% from that original budget. That's what I've been using.
Yeah.
And then bumped several times during the day. And for me in the night, when I go to sleep like at 12 midnight, it's like 3 p.m. US PST time. And so after that, I'm not able to bump much anymore because I'm sleeping. But on some days or some nights, better just to say, I put the alarm clock to just check stats and, put another bump in.
No, yeah, I've done the exact same because in Australia we have sort of similar time zones where America, like the big countries. Yeah. So I've put my alarm on sometimes like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to wake up and put the budget up as well.
Right. Yeah.
How many days did it take you to scale it to say 1,000 in spend?
Oh, that was pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That was within the first week.
Yeah. And then so like the week after that, you were hitting like what, $15,000 days or?
So I have one screenshot from my ClickBank stats where I finished the week with 9K. Then the next day, I think it was like 23K. And the next week it was like 80 or 90K and then 175K. So it made like big jumps. Like in a time frame of 4 months, 4 weeks, I was able to scale from a $9,000 week to a $175,000 week.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, exactly. And that just shows you when you find that one winner, right? Because all you did was change that offer. You tweaked the video a small bit and then boom, just like that. So that's, I think, like so incredible. And it just goes to show how like you can be like, so, you know, that there's like that image of like, you're so close to like the diamonds, but you like give up. It's literally like that with this, which is crazy. But to give some perspective on doing the videos and stuff, how did you find creating the videos and creating the scripts?
Well, with the script creator, it's pretty easy, but I wanted to diversify a little bit and not use like all the same sentences that other marketers are using as well. So I try to diversify a little bit, but I used a lot. Like my hook came actually, like you teach it, from an email script, like an email script from the vendor. So that was my hook, and that made it pretty easy. However, like I said in the beginning, I really wasn't sure if I have any spelling mistakes or punctuation mistakes and things like that in it. So I hired someone on Fiverr to just proofread my script and to eliminate like all the grammatical issues that may be in there and like put the punctuation and everything in the right form. So that cost me like $10, so not really a whole lot. And then I felt more comfortable running the video because on my earlier videos I didn't do that, and I'm not sure. There may be some grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes just because of English not being my first language. I don't know. So there may be some in there, but I felt more comfortable after having someone who's native English speaking looking over my script, and that investment of $10 was for me a very good investment because it made me feel more comfortable running.
And so did you find it like, did you enjoy the process? Like, did you enjoy the sort of creative process of making the scripts and also making the videos, or did you find it difficult or because a lot of people that have success come to enjoy the process. So it'd be good to hear your insights on like the actual, process of doing it.
Yeah, I like creating those videos, to be honest. I really like it a lot because I like to be creative anyways. So, and that's what I'm doing in my job as well on social media, creating social media posts, right? I like to be creative, and that's why I love that video creation too. So I really like that a lot. Yeah. I'm less the numbers type of a person, but I learned to look at my numbers and my stats, and it's important. You need to know where you're at. I enjoy more creating videos and I enjoy more the creative side. But as long as my stats are green and click magic, like the different veins are green, I'm happy. But it's important to look at your stats and data and analyze it and make decisions based on that. So I learned to do that as well. Yeah.
And so you said that your job, because you're working like full time, and you said that it's like basically like a 9 to 7 or 8, because you're working like late into the night. So how did you find balancing your full-time work, even like more than full-time work hours, with the video creation process, running the ads, and just doing Profit Singularity as a whole? How did you find that balance?
It's a lot. I put a lot of work into it. So long evenings or nights, on the weekend, not going out, not doing anything, working on my videos, working on my scripts, doing the ads, watching other videos that inspired me, that I could learn something from, re-listening to the webinars, re-listening to the videos in the course. So I put a lot of work and a lot of hours into that. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's doable if you really want to achieve success and you really, believe that you can do it. You will make the time no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's doable.
Well, I'm sure the long nights and the weekends, produce this result, which is like incredible. So how do you find the process now that you've like dialed in the business model? Do you find that you have to still put in long hours, not go out on the weekends, or is it more sort of passive and easier now that you've like cracked into a winner?
Way more passive and easy now, because you have your winning video, you have your campaign. I just do a little vein tapping, to see which is the best vein for that day. But other than that, it's just running, it's running. It just needs a little maintenance. However, I still look into other products and create other campaigns as well, because you never know how long your campaign will last. And I don't want to be there with empty hands one day. So I better prepare and, test and do, like this weekend, for example, I plan to create two new videos for 2 new products that I want to test and see how it goes and run those simultaneously. Yeah. So obviously when you're in that phase, you put a little bit more work into it again. But I could easily say I just, let it run as it is right now. But I just want to be prepared for that one day when the product maybe isn't converting that well anymore.
Exactly. And when you're making money like that, it's easy to just sort of get back into the flow of things again and just keep experimenting. Because as you said, you can literally just let your campaign run without like doing anything. But I mean, if there's so much money on the table, you always want to be testing new stuff, creating new stuff, launching new stuff, as you just said.
Yeah.
And so as I said, like you could have easily just given up completely and we wouldn't even be on this call right now. But what was the thing that made you want to keep pushing?
I really wanted to have more financial freedom, like I mentioned before, I have the location freedom already, but if you're like on a budget, I mean, you can't do a lot of traveling and, enjoy that location freedom as much as you can when you earn a lot more money. And so I really wanted, on top of the location freedom that I already had, I wanted to get like that financial freedom. I want to build a house, like to live in, so I just want to have that more lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah. No, definitely. And before, so you have like social media experience, nothing with paid ads or YouTube or anything. Have you had any other experience with any other business models at all? Like, looking to gain financial freedom. Did you go through any other business models or anything before?
Yeah, I've been in an affiliate marketing course as well for Facebook, but I couldn't make it work. Whenever I had an ad up and running that produced maybe 1 or 2 sales, I got shut down. So I was just always shut down on Facebook. So I had experience a little bit with Facebook on paid traffic, but never on YouTube. So YouTube was completely new for me. And Facebook didn't work out for me. And then I saw that email, one day, and you were talking about YouTube. And I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And how have you found the YouTube platform? How have you found running ads, setting up campaigns? Was it like a sort of steep learning curve, or did you find it relatively easy?
Relatively easy. I find it way less confusing than Facebook, to be honest. And, like, you can scale much better. Like on Facebook, like I said, I had 1 or 2 sales and I got shut down. I couldn't even scale. I couldn't, it was just impossible for me. Whatever I tried, it didn't work. But on YouTube, you don't have to deal with account shutdowns in a way that it is on Facebook, first of all. And I also think that setting up the campaigns itself is very easy. It's not a difficult thing. And you don't have to do any targeting, right? I mean, if you run to the big niches. So I'm not doing any targeting at all. So I'm like from beginning on a fresh new pixel, I went broad, and if you have the right video, it just works. Google is so smart. It just works. You don't need to sit there for hours and hours and check keywords or topics or anything like that. It's just not needed. So I find it way easier than Facebook.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And with Google, they want you to scale up so much. Once you have a winning campaign, they're telling you to like jack the budget up so much, which is very different. And it's like, it can be, I guess it can also be like sort of crazy as well when you first start spending that much money and you've never spent or I should say invest, because you're making a return. But do you want to run us through the sort of how it felt to go from spending like a couple $100 a day to spending like $1,000, $2,000 and so on?
Crazy. I was really nervous. I was always like, when I changed that number on the budget, I was really nervous. Although I knew the campaign is working well, it's still like in the beginning, it was really weird. And then obviously when you spend more, the traffic comes in, sooner, like faster. And then the traffic sometimes comes in so quickly, and you didn't make any sales, but you already spent a couple of $1,000s, but there's no sales yet because people have to go through that entire video, right? That video sales letter from the vendor. So it takes like an hour or 2 hours till you see your first actually sales coming in. But in that 2 hours, you already spent a couple of $1,000s, and for me, it was like, wow, I was like almost freaking out sometimes, but you have to trust, and you grow into it. In the beginning, it was really weird to spend so much money. And for all those people who think you need a lot of, budget to be able to do this, I just had a credit card to do this. And, I didn't have so much limit on my credit card initially. But then when I got my first sales from ClickBank and I paid it right back, I pay like several, I'm on a weekly 2-pay on ClickBank now. So I paid back my credit card twice a week. And with that, my limit on my credit card skyrocketed as well. So it wasn't the same small limit that I started with. And now I can spend like $150K a week on my credit card, and it's fine, So, but it wasn't always like that. I didn't start like that.
Yeah.
And that shows that it's possible to start with a small budget. Even if you don't have a lot of spend on your credit card, you can scale that up really quickly. I'm using American Express, so I'm not sure how it's with other credit cards, but that American Express really allowed me to get to a much higher spend very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it becomes a different game once you start making that much money as well, because talking about like $40,000 plus days, it's like crazy. But for everyone else listening as well, like even just spending, like I've done a ton of student interviews where they don't even have credit cards because they have bad credit or this and that. But even just rotating the cash flow, like you might not be able to scale up as fast, but getting those payouts from ClickBank, reinvesting, starting small, and, you know, even making like $1,000 a day is like, you know, like crazy money really in the scheme of things. But obviously, you know, in our field, it's like you've got so many people doing $10,000, $40,000 days. And I guess obviously you've been seeing me post that and like motivating you, which is, you know, I think it's actually pretty crazy and humbling to see and talk with so many people, especially me and you, when like I've been getting your Instagram messages, but to actually be on here and listening to how you found the course and how you found the process and everything and hit such big days is like amazing to hear. And
yeah, I hit platinum like after I had that break where I didn't do anything in terms of running ads or creating videos. After that break, when from that day on till platinum, it took me 9 weeks, 9.5 weeks. Yeah. To reach platinum status on ClickBank. Yeah. That's
crazy. And for everyone that doesn't know what platinum is, it's like over 250K in sales. So you did that in 10 weeks, which is ridiculous. That's insane. So
including the testing phase from that first initial product.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's been your biggest so you mentioned your biggest month so far in profit was 100 and like what, 15,000?
119 plus the 15K for the second place.
Did you ever think that was possible to achieve? Like
I dreamt of it.
Money? I
dreamt of it for so long. I, you know, visualized it. I even printed out like a screen. I always visualize a lot of things. So I printed out, like, for example, on my phone, I have like, this is a screenshot like from one of your students. Yeah. Who's doing like, you know, 70, 80K days, like consistently. So, so this is my background on my phone. Whenever I touch my phone, I see this. And then I printed out like a screenshot from the leaderboard and I photoshopped it and made me first place. Yeah, no. Well, it wasn't enough for first place, but I ended up second place. So I'm really happy and I don't want to complain. In the end, there were 3,800 affiliates, you know, participating in that contest. And, you know, I mean, I shouldn't be disappointed being just second, but what I'm trying to say is that visualizing, dreaming your things, feeling yourself into that state, you know, of your goal, whatever you want to achieve, that definitely helps, you know, like mindset and all that. So yeah,
I'm really big on visualization and mindset as well. But let's say before you joined the Facebook course or any of that sort of stuff, were you aware that, like, I guess back, because I think there's a big transition when you start to get into like, I want to start making money online, you know, it's like once you actually see like this, what's possible. But before you went through that transition, did you ever think something like that was possible?
No, before that, not.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend still can't believe it. He's like not into online marketing at all. He's like nothing to do with it. When I started this and invested in the Mentor Me, he was like, oh my God, now she's, you know, he couldn't imagine. I mean, he sees those screenshots from other students and he thinks it's not real, you know. Yeah. And now he's seeing my screenshots. He's like, he can't believe it. So he's like, for someone who's never seen any screenshots or results from people, or not knowing that people are making so much, it's really unbelievable. People just don't think that it's a legal thing or, you know, anything like that. So it must be something, you know, off the chart, like off the legal things, because in a normal way you can't possibly earn that much money. Yeah. But yeah,
I agree. And it's interesting because now we have so many, from my perspective, we have so many student results, like your amazing like story, your amazing results. There's so many, and as you said, I've been posting them on my Instagram to inspire like all my students and everyone to realize. And it's good to know that that's actually really helpful, because it took you from like wanting to give up or take a break to then getting back into it. But it's getting to the point now we have so many crazy results like yours that people like, first of all, the numbers are crazy. They're like, the numbers are crazy, but how can there be so many of them? And they think it's like a scam or all of it's fake, or like you're an actor right now. So what would you say to those people?
It's definitely try it and see for yourself. It's absolutely doable. And if I can do it, anyone can do it, you
Yeah.
know.
I know, and it's just interesting perspective to get from your take, because you didn't know who I was like a year ago, right? You probably didn't know
Right.
who I was. You saw like the advertisements, or you saw the business model, and then you took a risk, and you had to go through some challenges and stuff. But now we're here talking. You've got hundreds of thousands of profit in the bank, so it's awesome to be able to like honestly like help people, and it's humbling to hear these experiences as well. And so let's say you could go back to the first time you heard about this business model, or when you were just about to join, or as soon as you joined, what would you give the advice to your old self back then? The one that was like struggling with it, the one that wanted to take a break. What advice would you give to her now?
Okay, so my advice would definitely be not to give up, just push through. It doesn't matter how fast you go. There's nobody, telling you have to reach such and such result in that time frame. Take your time, invest as much time as you can into it. Believe that it's possible, and just test a lot. Test a lot and try to make like really videos that are Google friendly, that Google likes. Yeah, that's what I would say, and invest, have the faith. Other people are showing that it is possible. So have faith. It is possible. It is doable. And you just have to stick with it, test, and even test on a small budget, but keep going. Do like every day, if it's just a tiny little bit that you can do, if you just have a tiny little bit of time to invest per day, do it. And like every little step you do, every little ad you launch or video you create brings you closer to that goal. And if you stick with it, you can make it work. You just have to stick with it. I don't even want to imagine if I would have not pulled myself up again, and have stopped there. I mean, just imagine what I'm losing out, what I would have lost out. Like, it's crazy.
Exactly. And I think that's why these are so powerful, these interviews and stuff, because like you were someone watching this right now, back like, just starting out, learning. And I think it's, I think the magic, I've said this before, but I think the magic in life is when you see someone doing something and you can realize that you can do that as well, and you give yourself the power to like, be like, you know what, if all these people are doing it, if Eva's done this, I want to go ahead and I want to pursue that and make that happen for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so one more question I have is, what are your goals for the next like six to 12 months? Like in a year from now, you've come so far in a year, doing $115,000 profit in a month. What are your next goals? Are you going to quit your job anytime soon? You already have the location freedom, you said. Are you going to travel more?
Yeah. So I will still do it. Will still stay a little bit longer in my job to just prove the concept more for a little bit longer time, since it's so new. I mean, I already made more like in the last few weeks that I make in an entire year in my job, right? Yeah. So, but I just probably want to feel still even a little bit more secure before I really leave that agency. And as long as I can do it, aside. But on the other hand, I'm also thinking, just imagine if I would put like all that time that I spent in the agency and I would put that into my affiliate business, what I could achieve then, So I eventually I will, I want to definitely do the affiliate marketing full time. But I said to myself, maybe to the end of this year, like now it's September, so maybe till the end of December. And then let's see how it further goes, and then make a decision there. Yeah.
And I just want to reframe what you said again. So you said that you made more profit in a few weeks than you do in like a whole year of your regular job. And you're doing that part, and you're doing like affiliate marketing, like not even part-time, like super casual hours, because you're working like from 5 to 7 or 8 p.m. sometimes. That is
exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Yeah. And it just goes to show that it like doesn't actually take too much time, creating the videos, doing the processes, launching the ads. So yeah, that's crazy.
You just have to be determined. And like I said, do every day a little bit, as much as you can. And that brings you a little bit closer to your goal. It does work. It does work 100%. If you put the work in and you have the faith and you continue, you will make it for sure. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. And I was down too. And I was so close to giving up. And I'm the happiest person ever that I didn't give up, that I listened to what you guys are saying. Don't quit. Just keep going. Stay laser focused. Even if you have little time to invest, you can stay laser focused in that time. And, you know, like this mantra that you guys have in your course is the most valuable advice, really.
Yeah, the mantra. Yeah. That's why it's in there. And that's why I think it is the most important, because we want everyone to succeed. And it just really comes down to that. Like, and you're living proof of it right now, you know? So it's been a pleasure, like, speaking with you, hearing your story. And yeah, like, these are like the best sort of, this is, for me, is like the best, because I, you know, can make money and stuff. And I've been doing affiliate marketing for some time now, but actually being able to speak with students that have gone through my course, speak with you and hear your stories and hear like your ups and downs, and that you now have found success. It's incredible to hear. It's awesome to finally speak with you and hear your story and everything. Thanks for coming on and sharing that with us.
Well, thanks for having me. And thank you for all your effort you put into the course to make this even possible.
Awesome. Thank you.
I really appreciate it so much.
Thank you.